Okay, red button, good. Okay, YouTube, Jonathan Buford. I'm back for my weekly video. Like I said, we are going to do today's video on the Galaxy S8. If you are a digital nomad, then there are things that are probably essential to what you do. That's probably going to be a laptop, and if you're a YouTuber, you need lights and a camera and a phone. I would not want to be a digital nomad and live a life of having an income that is primarily online and needing to communicate without having some sort of smartphone. Also, I do a lot of social media, so there's a lot of things that can't be done on a regular phone. Even though I still like flip phones, I think they're cool. I think they should come back. I think the screen should be small and they should be powerful. I don't know if that's going to happen though. So, Galaxy S8. Now, I've already explained why this is essential, because you're traveling full time. You're going to need a phone with capabilities. And I got into this phone because, let me go back a little bit. I was actually an iPhone user for years. I had the iPhone 2, and I haven't had a phone that made me feel like that phone made me feel awe, wonder, amazement since this phone. I remember that first iPhone that I had. It was incredibly intuitive, fast, sleek, fun, had all these great things about it, and I really loved the phone. And then, I've had other iPhones since then, given to me by my wife. They were like hand-me-downs. I really never paid for a smartphone until this one, basically. The last one I had was an extra that my friend had. He had two, sent me the new one, and I needed that phone, his extra iPhone, because my battery was taking a dump on me. I needed another phone this time because the battery on my other iPhone was taking a dump on me. So it was a long road, but what actually got me to let's not go into that right now. Let's unbox the phone. Galaxy S8. I bought mine in coral blue. It comes in like 3 colors, I think. More than that, I think. But this is the international version, and that's the one you're going to want. You're going to want to get the unlocked, which is, that's another way of saying the phone is unlocked. You can use it with any SIM card to any company. So, yeah, you want the international version. You want it to be unlocked. So let's unbox it. It's iPhone-esque in its unboxing. And here it is. Voila. It's very similar. So the first thing I noticed about this phone, and why I even got into it, was because I was doing a lot of research on how to get out from underneath Apple. And I didn't want to go just from one iPhone to another one just because that's what I do, and I'm a Mac guy or I'm an Apple guy. I wanted a phone that performed differently. So I did a lot of research, and I found the reviews were super good for this phone, and I was like, oh, this might work. I've been looking at moving into Android for a while, and the reviews were so good, and so many things about it. Oh, my phone. My flashlight, that's my other form of lighting. I'm going to do this on the fly because that's how things are here at jonathanbuford.inc. I do not have light. This is half of my lighting right now. I'm doing my videos at night right now. That's how things are. Please bear with. Thank you. Problem solved. So, where were we? Oh yeah, reviews were good. And I kept researching, and then I was like gaining hope. And I was like, yeah, this might be our way out. I told my wife, it might be our way out, like into a phone that would better suit me and her. So kept doing research. I was sold at a certain point, and then I went to go get the phone. So here we are. and it's got an always on display. That means that it's usually got a clock and it shows you the temperature and a few other things, notifications if you want those. I don't. I found that I kept on looking at my phone all the time and it was a distraction for me, and I did not want that. So I turned that off, and all I have running is the little the home button right here. So that's all I've got running. And why I keep that on there is because I can know what end is up on the phone. That's one of the things I do not like about this phone is if I don't have that home screen on there, I can look at it and not know where is the top, where is the bottom, because it's so symmetrical. Yeah, so simple fix. And I took the other stuff off. I deleted the other face widget, and I just have that because I think that's good. It's enough for me. And I have a watch. By the way, this is the best watch in the world. It's a Casio G-Shock Rangeman compass, temperature, barometer, altimeter, best watch in the world. So I have a watch. I can look at my watch for the time. I don't need my phone. I don't need to be looking at it all day. I actually had a transparent wallpaper on here for a while that when you're looking at it, and so your wallpaper is just clear. It uses the camera as a joke, so I wouldn't walk into polls, because I think this thing that we do all day is ridiculous. We need to be looking at each other's eyeballs. So careful when they label things smart. And we'll get back to that point here in just a bit. So to continue unboxing, we've got this phone holder. Here we have the SIM card key, and we're going to need that in a second, so I'll pull it off. We have if I can get at it, a USB-C to USB adapter in the box. We have a micro USB to USB-C adapter in the box. All phones should be USB-C. Get with it, people. Continuing on, we have a pair of AKG in-ear headphones. And this is a product from Harman Kardon, which Samsung owns. And I just spent a long time researching headphones, and I bought a pair of these. They're actually metal with a Kevlar cord. They're One More from China. That's got a triple driver, and they're really, really good. I'm not an audiophile or anything, but these are like really quality headphones. These are $100. These are also supposed to cost $100. And I can't tell a huge difference, but I can tell a difference. But these sit in my ear good. I gave them to my wife because she was using these $20 pieces of junk. And I actually like these. I think they're way better than the earphones that come with Apple products. I think those are absolute garbage, and they fall out. So, headphones. Wife now uses them. I have my other pair. She'll have her own when she gets her S8. So putting that to the side. And there's also actual earbud connector things that the silicone tips that actually allow you to get a better fit. So that's a pretty considered option there. In case the ones that are on the earbuds don't fit your ears, you can put these on so they'll fit. So there's that. And moving on, we've got the SIM card key. One thing about the iPhones and how they're doing it, they give you, one of the things that the iPhone has that this doesn't have is 4K video. Now, this phone comes in at 64 gigs storage capacity, stock. The iPhone comes in at 64. Also, they have a, 256? I think it's 256. I don't think it's 128. I hope it's not. But that phone costs you $150 more. So if you're going to buy an iPhone, get the storage capacity, unless you're like me and you're a minimalist and you're constantly deleting stuff and you don't like to keep much on your phone anyways. You probably want the bigger storage capacity, which you're going to pay at least $150 for. So this thing slides out. it notifies you that it's opening, and then you've got the SIM card holder and the thing that holds the SD. So this thing is, now I've lost my SIM card. My whole life is going to downward spiral. Where could that, honestly, I'm sitting right here, where did it go? It flew somewhere far. Oh, here it is. Got it. So this is what the SIM card sits in. All phones should have this too. All phones should have this. SIM card, and then you've got the place for the expandable memory, the SD. So you just, I don't know. I like being able to just go out and buy a chip and expand my phone to 300. 300, okay? So once again, iPhone's coming in under spec if you look at it that way. Putting it back in, I haven't got that card for it because, like I said, I'm a minimalist. I probably won't need it. I might though, and if I do, I'll have fun putting it in there. So there's that. Let's look at the phone, the actual phone. Okay, so it's got a hard press home screen. There's no button. It's just a hard press on the glass. Opens it up, and one of the things I really love about this phone is that since it's Android, I can put any theme on it, any wallpaper on it. I can change the icons. I can clear the screen off, which, as you can see, I have. And look how beautiful it is, how bright. It's a AMOLED screen, LED. So it's just great. And the new iPhones will have the screen too, but they got the technology from Samsung. So yeah, there's that. Beautiful screen. Here's settings. I've got a settings button on the front screen just so I can get into it. And look at how beautiful that is. It's a dark theme. So the colors on it are the same colors that you usually see in coding text editors. And I'm a geek, so I like that a lot. There is nothing that you cannot change on this phone. There's nothing that you can't like mess with and change. And it's got facial recognition. And I'm not going to say like Apple because Android's had that for years. You know, they've had facial recognition for years. And it works. You actually just pick it up and go like this, and it works. You don't have to hold it in front of your face and go like this. Have you seen the Apple keynote thing where he actually tried it? Keynote speeches, these things trip me out. Yeah, I'd like to see someone driving on the freeway in the Bay Area going like this, trying to open up their phone. Or maybe I don't. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. I don't want to see that. Another thing, coming back to the point I made earlier, these smart objects that we use, we have to be careful because a lot of times in our society, when they call things smart, there's parts about them that would not be too smart to utilize. If you are not fingerprinted by the FBI or the DA or, you know, the police or whatever, I don't know. Like all of our information these days goes straight to the NSA. Look it up. Texts, phone calls, they get dumped into huge data banks at the NSA headquarters. And I'm not going into conspiracy here. We're talking facts. Like I said, look it up. Do you want your fingerprint on your phone just be flowing out there into the cloud or whatever? Like, do you want that? I don't know. Do you want facial recognition data to be floating around? Like, besides the fact that I don't think it's that, I don't know. I don't even see, like, there's other ways to keep your phone secure. So I would just say, look into it before you start putting your fingerprint out there and your facial recognition data out there for free for them to collect on you. It's just the world that we live in. We're talking facts here. So yeah, beyond that, like I said, it's a dark theme. It's beautiful. I've changed the theme like 3 times, the wallpaper. And it's just gorgeous. Here's the phone. Boom. It's just nice. It's dark. It conserves battery. because these screens suck juice. They really do. And like I said, you can just click on something and move it, and there you go. If I didn't want anything on that front screen, I wouldn't have anything on that front screen. Another thing that Apple doesn't have, they keep those ugly. You try to have a picture on your front of your phone, and they got the apps in your face covering up what you want to have on your home screen. So if I want nothing, I want nothing. Here's the say if we're going to write a text. Here's the keyboard, and it's just all around beautiful. My texts don't show up in blue. They don't show up in green if someone's not a iPhone person. Ew, it's a green text. It must be Android. Ew. My texts just show up in the color I want them to show up in. I can change all that on this phone. So another plus. Yeah, and it's dark, and I like it. And just another little thing. I was able to go online and search for this. There's a thing called developer mode in this phone, where if you go into your settings, boom, you go into your, I think it's lock screen security, but it's one of these options in settings. And if you keep tapping it, a little box comes up and says, you're almost there to developer mode. And then it says, okay, you've done it. And then now I can go down the bottom, tap developer options, and I can do anything from putting a password on my desktop, USB debugging, revoking author. Okay, I don't want to get too techie. Like, I don't even understand most of the stuff. You can change the speed of the animations so that it just like when you open up an app or the settings or whatever, it just populates and it's just extremely fast. You can, I mean, look at this. It just goes and it goes. And there's just so much that you can do. Force activity to be resizable. I can have YouTube running up here, and I can have my phone in settings running down here, so I can be watching a YouTube on how to configure my phone and not have to go back and forth from my computer to my phone because I'm watching YouTube and on my phone at the same time. You would not believe what this phone is capable of. I spent the first 3, 4, 5 weeks in disbelief and awe of what was actually possible with this phone. It's that good. It's that powerful. It's that there's that many options. I've just been basically blown away, and I think I'm rambling a little bit, but that's how strongly I believe in it. Now, just to give you an idea why I switched over, it was because I saw over the years the quality of Apple technology go down. Steve Jobs died, and I feel like Apple doesn't make any new products anymore. It just removes buttons and holes. And one of those holes I wanted, it was my headphone jack, and they were making the new iPhone 7 with no headphone jack, and that was like the nail in the coffin for me because I use earbuds all the time. I want to, what if I want to use my earbuds and charge my phone? Like, there's just problems with that. I'm not trying to buy that little dongle that you can still use your headphones with. I think it's ridiculous. Let me take a breath. I think it's ridiculous. I also saw how they were, I saw a parody about the iPhone 5C, the cheap, remember that plastic? It was plastic. The phone was plastic. They came out with the iPhone 5. There was an iPhone 5C, and then there was the iPhone SE. And I'm like, well, okay, so does C stand for cheap because it's made of plastic? And why? And the iPhone 6, if you hold a black iPhone 6 up to iPhone 8, you cannot tell the difference. So when I'm watching their commercials and their marketing and they're telling me that all they've changed is everything, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. I can still think for myself as a human, and when I look at that phone, they look similar. In fact, they look completely the same. And if you've changed everything, that wouldn't be the case. So, all of those things put together, and the headphone jack really was what finally did it for me. But let's talk about a couple of other things. This phone has quick charging capabilities. Quick charging, meaning it charges fast. And This right here is what does it. You plug this into the wall, into the phone, charge the phone fast, and it's in the box. It came in the box. This thing came in the box. So um, it no longer charges at the crappy 5 watts that the iPhones charge at. They charge slowly. iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 have quick charging capabilities, but the charger for it, the thing that you need, so the thing that you need to charge the phone quickly doesn't come in the box. It doesn't come in the box. What you get instead is the same old little piece of garbage white cube that charges the phone at 5 watts. So why, Apple? Why is that? Why does the charger that enables the quick charging of the phone that I've paid for come separately? Why? This charger comes in the box, which I think is great. I think is great. And yeah, let me take a couple breaths while I clear up my space here. Now, there was a few more points I wanted to go over here, but just to wrap it up, and we're going to do a phone water test to see if the IP68 dust and water resistant protection on this phone actually works. And I'm only doing that because of the fact that I trust that it does. I trust this company now until they give me reasons not to, like Apple did. So I was going to say that when part of the intimidation and the worry about changing over, switching from iPhone to Android, from iOS to Android, was that I was worried I wasn't going to be able to use the phone. I was worried it was going to be garbage. How am I going to get my Apple information over from Apple into Samsung? I know Apple's not going to be any help with that. How am I going to get my information over? All my apps, all the stuff that I've changed on the phone, all my contacts and stuff. Like, how many days am I going to be in limbo? Let me tell you, the reason why I bought that SSD for my computer that was made by Samsung was because their software for switching over stuff like that is profoundly intuitive, smart, quick, fast, easy. You get prompted with everything. So when I got this phone, I hooked it up to my iPhone and I used their software that comes with the phone called Smart Switch, and it was about 20 to 30 minutes, if that, I can't remember, small amount of time, and all the stuff came over. The apps that did not translate because iOS is different from Android, it said, do you want us to get these apps from the Google Play Store? And I just select the ones that I wanted it to get, and it got those. So I've got Android apps to replace them. That was the air of the process. That was the essence of the process. Easy, fast, simple, beautifully intuitive. So it took me so much less time to get my information over from my last iPhone to this Android phone than it did to get my information from my last iPhone to my newer iPhone. I remember spending 7 hours on the phone because the techs couldn't find out what was wrong with the iMessage situation. It was this big weird thing. I was absolutely enraged, and that was the worst time I've ever had with that process. But yeah, it's never been fast. It's just never been fast. This was simple, quick, easy, fast, and absolutely amazing. Do not want to underestimate. Oh yeah, wait, before I do that, a couple things I didn't like. I need to have that little home screen thing. I need to have that little light because I don't know which end is up on this phone. I've put a couple of really tiny scratches on the screen, and I don't remember that in iPhones. So I bought a screen protector, and I'm gonna put that on after I do the water test. But there's that, and the whole process of learning Android hasn't been super hard, but it hasn't been extremely easy either. It hasn't been bad. And actually, because I'm geeky, I have enjoyed it. I actually really have. And it cannot be understated that this is an open source item here. This is open source technology. And the reason why, how do I go into that? The apps are going to open up slower. That's another con, because the apps are being built by different developers than the actual phone was, in the software for the phone. the operating system. So there's a little bit of lag. That's slower on these phones. I don't know if you can see it, but like we'll open up Snapchat. There's just a bit, like a tiny bit of a lag. Here's YouTube. You know, it's not bad, but it's noticeable. And I've got my phone on beast mode right now, and it is fast. It is fast. So I'm a web developer, right? So if I want to go and code an app for Apple, I have to actually go out and buy their laptop. I have to own a MacBook. Number one. Number two, I have to go through this lengthy like licensing process. Number three, I have to, after I've built the app, put it on their app store, and they take 30% of the money. I have to buy their computer, go through the lengthy process, and then they take 30% of the cash I'm making from my hard earned time and coding and designing and all that stuff. So on this phone, if I want to make an app for this phone, I just make the app and I put it in Google Play Store. And how much money do they take? None. They take none. $0. Zilch. No money. They don't take 30% off the app that I built. It's garbage. So I believe in open sourcing. I do not believe in closed sourcing. I think that's one of the reasons why Apple's dying, is because of the closed sourcing stuff. Closing comments. Why don't we just do the water test first? I think that's about all I need to show you. Real quick, if you don't like the Bixby thing, this button usually opens Bixby. All you have to do is press down over and then Bixby Home. There's a button there. Just press that. I haven't found a video on YouTube yet that explains how to do that so that you don't accidentally hit that button and have Bixby come up. I don't use Bixby. I don't like my smartphones listening to me. So yeah, that's how you do that. So we're gonna go ahead and you can also like disable Bixby in other ways, but that's the quickest way of having that button and that swipe not go to Bixby. So let's put this phone into some water. I think we're all good. Really quick though, I don't have smartphones. Actually, it would be really hard for me to own a smartphone, especially a 4G LTE. So it's not triangulation anymore. It's 4 towers around you. So you've got like EMF waves coming at your brain, cooking your dome. It's not good. I was the EMF activist, still kind of am. I'm sitting on a grounding mat right now that's run outside and into the ground. I like to be earth. I like to stay away from too much wireless. And that was one of the things why I didn't want to, no headphone jack, right? So I have to use your wireless headphones that cost $200 and that are garbage and fall right on my ears. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting wireless stuff right on my brain. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, Apple. So another breath. Anyways, solution for that is PONG cases. PONG. 60% of the EMF that comes into this phone is redirected through the back in a circular area, saving your brain. And if you have a child, do not give them a smartphone without having one of these cases. It's extremely important. They've been able to show the heat with special cameras that shows up when a child doesn't have full like bone structure right there, and the EMF sinks into their brain and heats up the brain. So it's not good. The solution for that is PONG cases. And I looked all over for this. These cases are $40 to $50 on pong.com, pongcase.com. And as you can see, it's very slim line. The phone sits right on this. It's extremely thin, and yeah, it's almost like it's not there except for the extra tactile, the grip. It's got that plastic rubbery grip on it. So I do not run smartphones, any phones, without PONG cases to lower my EMF exposure. And that's about the last thing about that. We are going to go ahead and put this phone in the water to see if the IP68 dust and water protection actually works. By the way, Samsung's had this for years. Apple was talking about how they have that, and they're innovating with how are we doing? How are we doing? Are we good? Is it a fish tank? It's a fish tank in there, isn't it? Isn't that cool? It's a fish tank. So, yeah, Samsung's had that for years. Facial recognition, Samsung's had that for years. Apple now has an LED screen. Samsung's sold that to them. That technology came from Samsung. Yeah, huge amount of money changed hands for that technology. So, yeah, here we are. It's working. Looks like an aquarium, doesn't it? Doesn't seem to be any problems. We're going to let that sit while I finish up the video. Now, I had a few more points I wanted to go over, but I think I'm going to let those go just so this video isn't going to be too long. I have not started editing yet, and things are going to change around here when I start doing that. So for this video, to wrap it up, I would say, I wish I could say I was not an Apple hater. I wish I could say that I wasn't an iPhone hater. But it's been kind of like a death by a thousand cuts thing with Apple and their phones and how they all started to just look the same and they come out with these new phones. Is anyone else suspicious about why they came out with the iPhone 8 and 1 month, skipped the 9, went straight to the iPhone X the month later, and how that phone costs $1,000? This phone listed at $515 at Best Buy, unlocked. $515, and I think it takes. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I feel like this phone right here, aquarium phone, this water phone, this phone takes big old grumper on iPhones. And like I said, man, I just switched over. I'm not like a fanboy for Android. I'm just amazed by the phone. And I'm glad to be out from underneath all that clothes sourcing. And the phone was $515. They got their screen from this company, and it cost $1,000. That's if you buy the phone that was a mistake to buy with the 64 gigs. So unbelievable, overwhelmingly satisfied with this phone. Really enjoy it. I mean, it gives me a lot of pleasure just playing around with it because there's so much that you can do. There's so much that you can customize. It's so strong. With my wireless goes down, I run a mobile hotspot off this thing, and it's flawless. And yeah, I don't have any true big complaints. It actually does look really cool to me. Even it's like it really does look like some sort of techie aquarium. There's no fish, but anyways, it's still working. It's still working. Still good. So yeah, overwhelmingly super stoked I bought the phone. The camera's amazing. I found nothing on it that's been a true disappointment so far. I'm going to put a screen protector on it to make sure I don't put any more scratches on it. And yeah, that is about it. I think I gave you guys the tip about the facial recognition and thumbprints. Think about it. Look into it. Might not be the best way to go. Other than that, I think we're good. And next week is going to be a surprise as far as what we do. And that basically means I haven't figured it out. I hope you guys have a good week. If you like the video, please do so below. And it would also help me out greatly if you subscribed. That helps me out a huge amount. And comment below if you want any help switching over from iOS to Android. If you have any questions about the phone, or if you just want to hate on me for hating on Apple, that's cool too. Go ahead. It's okay. It's okay. You guys have a good week. I'll talk to you next week.